Okay, so in this video, we're going to add the display all course enrolments. In other words, all of the courses students are enrolled in. Okay, and so we need to add some test data, and then we could. So there's only one created in test data at this stage, but I could add more. Add course enrolments. So I could add Frankie into that course, and then Frankie into this course, and so on. Okay, now when I display course enrolments, you'll see there's two there for Frankie. Okay, so that's what we're going to develop in this video, part 7. So make sure you've worked through all the previous 6 parts, and then you're ready to do part 7. Okay, at the end of this video, I've got suggestions of where we could go in the future, do a checkpoint of where we are, what could we add to this app to make it even better, and so on. So I've got a lot of discussion at the end of this video about where we are, where we're going, and all that sort of stuff. So hope the video is useful. Please click thumbs up if you like. Show me you care. Show me someone out there cares. I don't think they cost very much to click thumbs up, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Okay, so let's get going. So we're going to add a new scene, and so it's going to be enrolments display all. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to right click on our package and go new, empty fxml, and we'll call it enrollment display all fxml. Okay, and then next, and we'll add a controller. We'll create a new one and just click finish here. We're not worried about CSS. Okay, so there's our fxml and controller. Now adding this screen is going to be a lot like our other display all screens. It's going to be virtually identical. So we'll have a button down the bottom, a label at the top, and a great big text area in the middle. Text area. Okay, and again, we could do it with a nice J table or something like that, or a nice JavaFX table. We'll just stick with the text areas from now on because I don't want to confuse things too much by adding fancy components. Okay, so this is display, display all student enrolments, and I'll make that size 24, which is the size I sort of like for fonts, for headings anyway. We'll make it bold, move it into the middle. So I might just move that down a bit. There we go, a bit of spacing. Button, what do you want to call a button? Return to main menu, something different. Return to main menu. Just center it again. Let's open up the code section, and we'll call this return to main menu button. And I'll double click on that, paste it there, handler, just like we've been doing all the time. So this is virtually identical to the display all students and display all courses screens that we developed. Virtually the same. Change of heading, and not much has changed. Okay. So we could, in fact, if we had covered a bit more Java and JavaFX, we could actually start reusing our display screens for different types of data, but we're not there yet. Okay, so let's go Control S to save that, and return to NetBeans, and now we want to regenerate our controller. So we'll double click on the enrollment display all fxml and say make controller, and that brings down all the components, and make sure we're okay. So we've got the return to main menu. Oh, we haven't got the text area turned on, so let's do that. Back to JavaFX or SceneBuilder, and we'll give this a name here. So this is text area. I don't know. That's a fair enough name, I guess. Control S to save, and we'll regenerate the controller again. So right click on the fxml and go make controller, and that should bring down. Yeah, there's a text area now. It's been brought down. Okay. Now the process for displaying all of the enrolments is simply to loop through all of the enrolments in the enrolments array list and add them into the text area. It's that simple. We did the same with students. We did it with different data and a different array list, but the process is exactly the same. In fact, it's so similar. We're going to copy the student one. So we'll go to the student controller, student display all fxml, and we'll go down to the initialize. Okay, and we'll just copy all that code that's in the initialize. Okay. In fact, we might also copy that code that's in the return to main menu as well. So let's grab that. We'll grab that first, just that one line of code, and go back to our enrolments display all. And we'll paste it down there and return to main menu. And add a throws. Add the throws. So the throws is on the exception there, on the throws exception on the method. And go back down to the display all students, and we'll grab everything that's inside the initialize method there. We don't have to grab that to do if you don't want to. So we'll grab all that. Control C, and we'll go back to the enrolments display all, and we'll paste all that code inside here. And we'll add the scene font, yep. Okay, and our text area is just called text area. I called it display text area in the student, but that's okay. We'll just call it text area here, text area, text area. So we're changing the font. We're setting it so it's not editable, so it's read only. What we're going to do is change where we're getting our data from. So, and that's coming from the enrollment add controllers array list. This array list here, the static array list. So go back to the display all. And go back again, and we'll grab that add controller so we know where to pinpoint it. Okay, so it's in the enrollment add fxml controller, and it's in enrollments array list. So we're just telling Java exactly where the array list lives. Class name dot static field or data object name. And it's not a student, it's an enrollment, and we'll call it enrollment E just to stick with a nice first letter, and it's e.toString. So whatever the enrollments are in the array list, we'll loop through each one and call it E, and each time through the loop we'll add the string version of that into the array list or into the string, and then the string gets set texted into the text area. Okay, and it's enrollments, not students. Enrollments found, and we don't have to worry about heading. I don't think we'll worry about headings at this stage. I'll leave the headings out. Okay, and that's about it. That should be all our display all students is. We've wired up the button there to go back. We need to make sure we've wired up the outward journey from our main menu, which is this controller here. And display all courses, display all students. Add course enrollments, add test data. There's a test data. Okay, so let's go into our scene here for our main menu. And we need to add a button. So let's add a button called display all in controls. Display all student enrolments. Or display, because we call it course, so we might call it display all course enrolments. Okay, let's go into the code section of Scene Editor, and we'll give that a name. So we're giving this button here a name. We'll call it Display All Course Enrolments Button. Give it a full name. Control C on that. Control V here and type handler. So we're a handler for it, and I think that's all we need. Okay. One thing that might be annoying you here, these buttons being different lengths might annoy you. So if you want to make them all the same length, you can as well. It's fine. Looks a bit neater, I guess. There's a million and one things we could do here to make things neater. Got to change our version number to version 7 in the heading. I haven't showed you how to do that from code, but it's just a matter of giving that, so that'll be a label header, header label. Give the label a name, and then inside your code, inside the initialize section of your controller, just say header label.setText student admin version 0.07. That's all it comes down to. So it's just a set text in your initialize section of your controller. Not hard at all. Okay, so display all enrollments. Okay, let's Control S on that to save it, and we'll right click and go make controller again, so it brings all the latest information out, and there's our new method. We've got to write the code for that. So this is just jumping to that screen. So we need a bit of code like this. And we're jumping to enrolments display all. So put enrolments display all there. We need to put a throw on the method header, throws exception, and that's about it. Okay, so we've wired up our new screen. And so let's run. And we'll go test data. So we'll get some test data added, and then we'll display all enrolments. I got an error there. And again, this is pure gold when you get these. Don't just look away from it. Try and find code that belongs to you in there. And here we go. So it's line 110. And of our display all course enrolments handler. So it's in the FMXL documents controller 110. It's not the controller we want to display. It's the FXML, not the controller. Okay, I grabbed the wrong one. Make sure you grab the FXML file, not the .java file. You don't want to try and display Java of XML. No. That doesn't work. Do a rebuild. Build failed because it's running. Do a rebuild. Looks all good. And let's run. And I'll click the set starter button and then display all. And there's one enrollment already there. So Moose 1000's enrolled in. That's some of the test data we added earlier in our test data button. Let's add another course enrollment. So we'll add Frankie into object-oriented programming, and we'll add Frankie into data structures as well. And in fact, he's going to do all 3 courses in one term. Good on you, Frankie. Okay, so Frankie's enrolled in all 3. Let's go back and display all and see if our report confirms that. And there we go, Frankie's enrolled in all 3. In fact, I enrolled him in one course twice. So that's something else you could think about adding as well, is making sure you don't have duplicates. If a student's already enrolled in a course, they can't enroll again. Okay, so that could be something you add. And if a student exists already, a student with that name, make sure name's unique. Perhaps, I don't know, what validation do you want to have? Depends on what you want to do. But certainly each student could only be enrolled in a course once. I think that's a fair rule. Okay, return to main menu, and I think that's it for this tutorial. Okay, so we'll just talk about things before we finish. Okay, so that's basically what we're getting to in this video. So extras for you to add. So now it's time for you to put into practice what you've learned over the course of the last 7, 8, 9 tutorial videos. And these are some of the things I recommend. So you could add student and course combo boxes to the display all students enrollment screen. Okay, and then when a student is selected in a combo box, to display all the students' courses, all of the courses which that student's enrolled. When a course is selected in its combo box, display all of the students enrolled in that course. Okay, so this will help you understand things a lot more. It's just processing the data in different ways and looping through. And so I recommend you do that sort of thing. So not just do it for that one screen, but do that sort of thing for other screens as well. I recommend you add more data in. So instead of just adding student name, student phone, student email, add more data in and add those data entry fields into the add screen, and also do validation for those. So these are all things you should be doing and could be doing to get more practice, to make sure you're where you need to be. Okay. So checkpointing, where we are now. So there's plenty more Java tutorial and problem solving videos in Mike's Java videos. So that's the tiny URL, and that's where all of my videos are. Well over 100 videos working through tutorial questions and problems. Okay, well over 100. Once you've worked through all of the data entry tutorial videos, in other words, the ones we've just done for JavaFX, SceneBuilder and NetBeans, the 7 or 8 videos. Once you've worked through those and all of the tutorial and workshop and textbook questions at the end of chapters for each week so far. So once you've done the tutorial and workshop questions and the textbook questions that are relevant for programming and the tutorial videos for this tutorial series we just worked through, then you should be in a very good position to complete assignment 1. Okay, and that's when I recommend you have a good crack at assignment 1 once you've done all that work, because it'll make assignment 1 so much easier. Okay, if you try and do assignment 1 off the bat, which is a massive problem, you'll become confused and lost. Okay, so you're much better off learning what you need to know in little short tutorial questions or tutorial videos, and then applying that to a big problem once you get up to speed, once you get up to where you need to be. Okay, so don't tackle the big problems first. Tackle little bite-sized problems. Learn what you need to know, and then apply that to the big problems, and you'll have a much better chance of success. This might seem like the slow way to do all this work, which is what you should be doing anyway. 12 hours a week minimum. You should be doing all this work anyway. But it might seem like a shortcut to go straight to the assignment, but believe me, it's not. Students who have tried it in every term, I've been teaching for over 20 years. Students who have done it every term to try and go straight to the assignments and not do any tutorial questions or whatever, they've always regretted it. They've always found it took 10 times as long as if they'd done all the tute questions, all of the textbook questions, and then done the assignments. Once you've done all this work, you should find that the assignments maybe a day of work. Okay, maybe. Depends on where you are and how fast you are. Okay. Anyway, that's what I recommend. So you're big boys and girls now. You can work out what you need to do to get where you need to be to do the work in a course. So that's my 2 cents anyway. Some future videos and tutorials. We could do some videos on file I/O. In this series, so we'll add more videos in on file I/O, loading and saving to file, searching, sorting, all that sort of stuff. We could look at adding a delete button to delete a student, delete a course, delete an enrolment. We could look at adding exception handling, add exception handling classes, our own classes, and we could validate inputs properly in the data classes, not in the controller classes. Okay, so we could actually make our code better by moving the validation where it should have been all along into the data class, because it knows about the data, it's responsible for the data. What's a valid student? Only the student class should know. The controller class shouldn't know. The GUI class, the user interface class shouldn't know. Okay, so database I/O for people who are interested in databases, and a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more stuff we could do, and in fact, there are videos covering all of these topics and so much more in my Java videos. Okay, so those videos are already there. So will I extend this series onwards? I don't know at this stage. I don't think so at this stage because the videos covering all of this stuff and a lot more is already on my channel. Just a matter of working through those videos and then applying it to this project. Okay, so anyway, we'll see how we go. But anyway, I hope this series of videos was useful. If you did enjoy it, please click the thumbs up. If you've got any comments, please add a comment. If you'd like me to add anything or clarify anything, let me know in the comments section. But a thumbs up every now and again would be wonderful. Let me know that people actually care about what I'm producing. Okay. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. All the best to you.